Hi, my name is Donna Brash, and I'm the reference assistant at the Bartram Trail Branch Library, and I'm with the St. Johns County Public Library System. And I want to thank you for joining me today, and I want to thank our friends of the library and the library system for providing this platform for us to share information and fun things. And today I have the honor of being with Christine Janks. And this is something really fun because it's Carson Springs Wildlife Conservation Foundation. Hi, Christine.
Hi, it's so nice to be here.
Oh, it's nice to be with you. And I was really excited a couple of weeks ago when I had the opportunity to come down and tour your facility and actually see and smell some of your animals. And when I say smell, it's because I met the wolves. And I used to have a pet red fox, and they have that same distinctive odor.
Well, actually, they were maned wolves or the jackals, and they do have that distinctive odor, but the maned wolves are not really wolves. They're a family unto themselves. That's just the name that they use, and they originate in Argentina and Brazil.
One of the most interesting things that my tour guide shared with me is that you guys are part of a genetic conservation program where you're saving some, I guess, lineages, or not sure what term to use, you can educate me, from going extinct in the world.
Well, I think all good zoos are part of this program because there needs to be obviously genetic diversity. And some of these animals have become so low in numbers that is becoming a critical part of preserving them. So if you have all of the genetics represented in one line, for instance, at one zoo, and they get swept through with disease and those animals are lost, then that's a whole branch of thinking of it like a tree, and every branch is a different DNA genetic diversity. If one branch is lost, that's a critical part. So yes, the parks and zoos that participate in this, they do breed animals, and it's critical that they breed animals to keep these genetics alive.
And then you kind of trade them so that you're keeping first cousins away from each other.
Yes, that again, people that are against zoos really don't understand the critical value and role that they play in preserving species, because the wild parts have shrunk so much with human encroachment and clearing of forests and different things that a lot of these animals are becoming not diverse at all because their territory is shrinking. So zoos can manage genetics by switching animals around and making sure nobody's related to anybody and keep creating animals with diverse genetics.
Well, I loved how beautiful your facility was because it's so wide open. And the animals are contained for safety, not just ours, but also theirs. But they looked very happy and content. They were lounging and they looked relaxed. They didn't appear stressed at all. And it was a really happy thing for me. I grew up with animals, and a lot of them were wild animals because Florida was much different 45 years ago when I was a child than it is now. And I had bears and red fox and all kinds of things just wandering around the neighborhood back then. One of the things I'd like to do today is share your website because it's such a beautiful website. And you have so many beautiful animals. And then here's the listing of your tours and your upcoming events. And you guys are strictly supported through donations. I saw the sponsor signs on a lot of your enclosures, and I thought that was really cool. Where am I? Meet the animals. There they are. I got a big kick out of the rhino, which is the oldest rhino.
The oldest Indian rhino in the world.
How old is he?
He's 39. And there's only been, in the period of record keeping, which is quite long, only 4 rhinos that have lived to 40 or more.
Well, he was a very content rhino when I saw him.
He's very spoiled, but we hold our breath.
He was standing under a sprinkler, and he had his manservant shoveling snacks into his mouth.
That manservant, my husband.
I know that, so you can tell him that I referred to him as the rhino's man.
Well, we always laugh about it because I said, if I'm on fire and Henry's on fire, I'm going to be fending for myself because he's going to be running a bucket of water at Henry.
Probably.
Right. For those that don't know.
My mother used to say that about my father's dogs. And I'm trying to do this screen share really slow so that the people that are viewing this with us can see all of the diverse animals you have. I don't know how many that you have. Do you have a number?
Well, it's about 28 species and about 110 animals.
Okay, that's fair. I know that you were up at the house taking care of babies, and I was really kind of jealous because I think that would be a ton of fun.
It is for a short period. It becomes not as much fun after several months. We do have 2 baby hyenas, and because the parents in the wild don't bring any food back to the babies nurse for 5 months, where, for instance, kittens nurse for 8 weeks or 2 months. We get an extra 3 months of bottle feeding in on the hyenas.
Wow, that sounds like a lot of work. I know that you guys live on property and take care of the animals all the time.
Yes, we do. We live right here, and we actually donate our time 7 days a week. We have no paid administration. 100% of donations goes to animal care. And it's really a labor of love because it's, particularly in these times, very difficult to make ends meet and make sure the animals get the kind of care that we provide, which is tremendously good food and veterinary care. But actually the veterinary care is pretty minimal because they get good diets. They don't live in stressful environments. And as you said previously, my biggest compliment is when people say, you know, the animals look so happy to be here.
Well, they seem to be very content. And I got a big kick out of a lot of them because they're the, oh my gosh, what were those? They're the pigs, the Red River hogs. Those were the cutest things to me. And I know they're not cute, but they just have such a distinctive look to them.
Yes, they do. And we try to have a very diverse group of animals so that something appeals to everybody, because these animals will not be saved in the wild unless people see them and form an emotional connection with them, which is why it's critical to support your local zoo, because they are really the ones on the front line of saving animals in the wild.
Well, how did you fall into this as your lifestyle?
Well, actually, both my husband and I come from the thoroughbred horse racing industry. He was a jockey's agent and I was a trainer. And we bred and raced a lot of champion horses, but cheetahs were always a love of mine. So in 2001, the night before 9/11, we paid for tickets to go to South Africa to see cheetahs. And you know, your knee-jerk reaction is, oh my God, we're not going to take this trip. But it wasn't for a few weeks. And I said, well, I'm not going to let this stop me from my sort of bucket list dream. And off we went. And we went to a cheetah breeding facility, and we met with the owner, and we talked about what they needed. And when we came back to the United States, we later helped with some of their fundraising. And the following year we went back and we ended up buying a farm that was critical in saving wild cheetahs. And so we did that for a number of years, but it was pretty difficult to run a business or a charity that was 10,000 miles away, even with a partner. So it was either move there or move what we were doing or trying to do to the land that we already had here in Gainesville. And so we were sort of retiring from the racehorse business and wanted to stay in one place. And we were originally from Chicago, so the winters were not as nice as here. And so in 2008, we got our first animal, or the end of 2007. And that was a rescue animal. We started with rescue animals, and then we sort of as the laws tightened up, there are less and less of rescued animals to be rescued as far as exotic animals. And so we got into more and more breeding and housing and caring for rare and endangered species. And pretty much the majority of our animals are rare and endangered. We have rusty spotted cats, which are the only ones in the country. And we had a litter. She had one kitten this year, which is the first ever born in the United States. And they're cats almost no one has heard of because they're small and they're not iconic. And they're just as critical to the ecosystem, but zoos don't house them because they don't make great exhibits. And so we can do things that what I call big city zoos can't do or choose not to do. And so we're very proud of our accomplishments in that area.
Well, it is a beautiful facility. It really is. It's, I'm not going to say it's fancy, but it's very well thought out. And we were going to do the drive-through, but the weather's been a little wet, so we walked it. And it was just really beautiful. It was beautiful Florida. I didn't just take pictures of your animals. I took pictures of some of your foliage because you had some fig trees that were amazing. And I can't remember the name of the other tree, but a lot of your flora and fauna is just really, really beautiful.
Well, that's kind of me too, because the other half of me is a plant person, and I'm sort of a plantaholic, and my husband Barry will say, you cannot buy any more plants until you've planted all the ones that are on the driveway, because I can't pass a Home Depot or a Lowe's without going in the garden department, and I have to bring something home.
Well, that's fun. It's just really pretty there. What message would you like to share today? If someone wants to help you, what's the best thing they can do to help you guys?
Well, for free, you can like our Facebook page and you can share it. We post videos. Our website we're not able to keep up with as well, but our Facebook page, we almost have daily videos and photos and news about the park. And so liking it, following our page, telling your friends, all of that helps us get spread around the internet, and it's all for free. The other things people can do that's really critical is adopting an animal. It's not a takeaway adoption. It's a leave here. But on our website, even $10 a month, I just can't tell people how helpful that is, because if everybody says, oh, well, $10 isn't much. Well, it buys feed, it feeds an animal or two for a day. And if nobody does it, we don't get anything. But if lots of people do it, it helps tremendously. So whatever amount that you could share once a month and it comes automatically off your credit card, that's tremendously helpful. We do have a lot of students that volunteer and people volunteer. That's 4 hours one morning a week, or it can be an afternoon sometimes, it depends. But it's a lot of grunt work. It's not petting animals, but it all helps move this thing forward. And like I say, my husband and I are here 7 days a week, and we work alongside the keepers, we have animals that we take care of. So any donations like that, or if your company wanted to donate or have a company picnic here, we do events, team building, all kinds of events here. All of that stuff is helpful because it's like anything else. It just takes time and money to make it go.
Just putting food on the table for those animals. I know they eat a lot.
Well, and they don't stop eating. It doesn't matter if it's COVID or there's a hurricane or anything else. The food that they expect the food to come out in their bowls every single day.
Well, I know that you're dedicated to making that happen, and I really appreciate your time today. And I wanted to thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us and to share your webpage. I did like your Facebook page, and I do get to see the things that you post, and I enjoy it very much. And I hope to be a supporter. I did bring you something when I came down, which was bedding, and you guys seemed happy to get that. I'm not close, but I'll try to give you a little something from time to time to feed my favorite animal, whichever one that might be, because I bet it changes every day.
Well, it does. And again, I can only encourage parents to bring your kids to outdoor facilities, to zoos, because the love of animals is the first step to preserving the animals, and that begins at a very young age. But I laugh because the kids will be more enamored of the dogs while the parents are enamored of the rare animals. But it's a wonderful experience. It's outdoors, no devices, it's healthy, it's walking. We are fortunate that we have a lot of land that we can spread the animals out, and they have huge enclosures. And so coming out and visiting with us and getting to see what we do firsthand is just a great experience for the whole family.
It was a very relaxed afternoon, and I got to spend as much time as I wanted to looking at each animal who looked at me and was like, yeah. Because they just were doing their thing. They didn't seem a bit bothered by the people.
Well, actually, they kind of like it when people come because it's entertaining to them. And, you know, you can only imagine what they're saying that we don't know, like, hey, look at that outfit or something else like that.
I agree with you. Who knows what they're thinking? But they seemed very happy. And it's my honor to talk with you today and to let other people know that this is just less than an hour from St. Augustine and about an hour from me. I'm a little bit in the northern part of the county. So it was a nice little afternoon trip. And I really enjoyed my time with you guys. So I want to thank you again very much. And I hope that this little blurb helps get you guys a little bit more help to feed all those beautiful critters that you have on your facility.
Well, I'm thrilled you're here and that you loved it, and we're very honored, and we love the opportunity to share what we do with all the people we possibly can.
Well, thank you so much for your time. I wanted to let my patrons know that if you would like, share, or comment on this on Facebook, it would also be helpful to us. And in a few days, it will be available on the library's YouTube page. So again, I thank you very much and have a wonderful day.
Thank you.